What's up, guys? Coach Tate here, and I'm bringing you a mini training on how to build a routine that survives real life. Now, I know especially this time of year with the holidays coming up, routines can kind of go out the window. I feel like holiday season and like summertime are usually the two times of year I see women struggle the most with routine, just because usually the kids are out of school. There's more flexibility with work. You might not be like going into the office, or maybe you just don't have work at all, and so it can be a little bit more chaotic. And so I really wanted to help you guys build a routine, not only through the season of the holidays, but for any time of the year, no matter what month it is. Don't let the holidays be your downfall. Don't let the holidays be an excuse, because it really is just an excuse. So I want to go into a training on really how to build a routine that survives real life. I honestly hate Instagram because there's so many influencers out there that like have this just like stupid like 20-step morning routine, and it's just like so unrealistic. And also I'm like, they're getting paid to show all these products that they're showing in this morning routine. So like, just remember that, you guys, like influencers get paid thousands of dollars for like one reel. Social media is fake. It's not real, right? Like social media is just not, it's just a mask. And reality is that's not like realistic for basically anyone, right? Unless you don't work. And we know that that's not the case here. So I wanted to go into how to do this using a three-tier system that I actually just created. And I'm actually really excited to share this with you guys, because I feel like I've actually been doing this for a really long time for myself, but I've never actually created like a system or a framework around it. And I'm really excited to share this with you guys, because I think this is so valuable and can be implemented in your day to day, like literally starting today. So why do routines fail, right? It's because we get into this all or nothing thing where like our health and fitness routine has to feel perfect, or it's not anything, right? And so I know, like, I used to be like that. I know a lot of you used to be like that, and now we're working on really creating the gray area, as I like to call it, right? It's not black, it's not white, it's gray. There's a shit ton of gray in our health and fitness journeys and what our routines look like. And then also perfectionism, right? Like feeling like you need to hit this routine perfect, kind of going off of the all or nothing mindset, or you don't have anything. And it's, again, going at it feeling like you need to be perfect is just going to cause you to fall off, because perfectionism is an unrealistic expectation. So that's why I created the 3-tier routine, where you can have essentially 3 versions of your routine that can be utilized every single day. So we have the minimum standard, the upgraded, and then the disaster plan. So let's get into each one. So first is your tier 1, your minimum standard routine. Think of these as your non-negotiables. So every single day you have about 3 to 4 non-negotiables of like, this is something I need to do no matter what. Examples of this could be 5 minutes of movement, 1 glass of water before coffee, 1 sentence of journaling, 2 minutes of breathing, a 10-minute walk after dinner. Think of these as just like the bare minimum. This is your minimum standard routine. So me, for example, like my bare minimum is always like my water goal, because I can hit my water goal no matter where I'm at. And my other minimum standard routine is hitting like movement. So steps, workout, like whatever that is a non-negotiable. And then my other one is like 3 nourishing meals, like 3 anchor meals with protein at each meal. Those are my 3 non-negotiables. So that is kind of what my minimum standard routine looks like. And that's something I can do literally whenever and wherever. Think of this as your floor, not your ceiling. So like, no matter what you're doing, you know that you can do these 3 to 4 things. That's it. I don't want you to pick more than 4, because then it just becomes a little bit too long. If you only did this version for a month, like you'd still be consistent. You would still be able to like reach your goals, or like slowly make strides towards your goals. So action step here is like identifying what are your daily non-negotiables. What does this look like for you? What does that kind of minimum standard routine look like? Tier 2 is the upgraded routine. So this is like your ideal routine, right? So ideal routine is like, okay, I'm hitting my gym workout today. My full morning routine, that for me would include like journaling, meditation, reading, coffee, like a really slow morning, balanced meals prepped ahead, pre-tracking, 10 minutes of journaling, a long walk, strength training. Like this is like the ideal version of you, right? Or your routine. It's important to remember, like, we obviously want this as the goal, but this isn't going to look like the goal every single day, just because it's life. So get clear on what this looks like. You don't have to force this upgraded version, but your confidence grows because your routine expands and contracts with your life. So again, this is like the top version, that upgraded routine. of what in a perfect world per se, and I don't even want to use the word perfect because like it's never perfect, but like what this looks like for you ultimately when you got to the end of the day and go to bed and you're like, damn, that was great. Like I had a killer day. Like what would that look like for you, right? So let's establish what your ideal routine looks like. And then tier 3 is the disaster plan. So this is the habit that keeps you in the game when everything goes off the rails. Okay, your disaster plan is literally one tiny action that keeps the identity alive, because the reality is that all of these routines essentially fall back on one thing: becoming a better version of yourself, right? And we hear this, you hear us say this a lot between myself and the coaches, like 1% better, 1% better. Your 1% better can look different every single day. For example, your disaster plan day, let's say like your alarm accidentally doesn't go off, you wake up an hour late, your kid's sick, like it's a clusterfuck, right? Like everything is like chaotic. Your work day's really stressful. You had a 12-hour work day, like whatever it is, you still have one tiny action that keeps that identity alive. And that identity is that you are someone who chooses yourself no matter what. You prioritize your health and fitness. That is the true identity, because the more that we step into that identity, we're going to continue the consistency. Some examples of what this could look like could be one deep breath, one stretch, one glass of water, one step outside for fresh air, one affirmation, one page of reading, a 5-minute walk, right? Like little things, one thing that's preventing the all or nothing spiral. Okay. So I want you to list out like what tools do you have in your toolbox, and obviously you can use these as an example, but like pick one after you identify, like pick one to two tools that you want to use essentially. And these can kind of rotate, right? Like kind of depending on what it is you need. Like maybe you just had a 10 back-to-back call day and like you just need to go out and get some fresh air, right? Or like a 5-minute walk. So pick about like 1 to 2 things for this season of life that you want to use for this disaster plan routine. Okay. So how to use this? I want you to go into this with that upgraded routine in mind, right? That best routine version of yourself. However, if shit hits the fan, I shouldn't say if, I should say when shit hits the fan, because we know it will. You now have 2 backup routines. You now have your minimum standard that you can fall back on, and then you even have your disaster plan that you can fall back on. Again, I've been doing this for like quite some time without even realizing it, and I just love that this system has been kind of created around this, because this has kept me consistent for years, right? Because in some capacity, I'm still showing up on more than 60% of my days. I strive to be this like that, upgraded version routine to myself, but life happens, right? On some days, it's literally just a disaster plan of like taking a deep breath or drinking a glass of water. So at the end of the day, it's important to remember that any version of this counts. Different seasons of your life may require different versions. I'm in a season of life right now where upgraded version is kind of my normal, to be honest. But earlier this year, if you would have asked me, it would have been like probably 50% minimum standard and 50% disaster if you would have asked me back in January or February of this year. So like every season of your life is going to look differently, and you might have some seasons where your upgraded routine is the majority. You might have some seasons where your minimum standard is the majority, and then you might have some seasons where the disaster plan is the majority, right? Obviously, that's not what we want, but shit happens. Life happens. So keep this in mind. This is how we build routines that survive real life. This is not perfectionism. This is realistic, right? So remember, your routine is not a performance. You're not performing it for anyone. So whatever routine you are able to do that day, be intentional about it. Even if it's the disaster, again, it's all about intentionality. If shit hits the fan and you are having to do your disaster routine that day, like don't shame yourself into it. Don't be like, oh man, I'm horrible and all I did today was this. It's like, no, reframe this as like, wow, I had a crazy day. My kid was home, from school sick. My boss threw a bunch of shit out of me, and I still drank my glass of water. Heck yeah, I'm proud of myself, because that was what my 1% better looked like today. Okay, it's all about how you speak to yourself as you show up for these routines. The more flexible it is, the more consistent you'll be, and the more your confidence, your energy, and results will build over time. Now go choose your 3 tiers. Words. Now go choose your 3 tiers for one habit, and then send them to me so we can refine them together. So what does that mean? identify each one of your tiers and what that looks like, and then send those over. And I would love to take a look at them, help you, give you feedback, and make sure that your routines are as realistic as possible.